Welcome back. In today's lesson, I'm going to teach you all sorts of things that are generally going to make you more awesome. Should we find a better word than awesome? Fantastic, admirable, inspired. Okay, what are you talking about, Benjamin? Have you ever had the experience of being in a social or work situation and not being able to talk because you can't remember someone's name? You know that they've told you it before. Or that embarrassing situation where you've got to know someone for a couple of weeks and it's gone past the stage where it would be polite to say, sorry, what was your name? I'm sure we all have. Now, the thing is that this is a totally avoidable situation because by using some of these tips for remembering someone's name, the moment you hear that name, you're going to be remembering it, and then you'll cement that name in your brain later on that day. Not only are we going to be looking at how to remember names, we're then going to apply some of these strategies to remembering the International Spelling Alphabet. That's the Alpha, Bravo, Charlie system where instead of saying the letter, to make sure the other person has absolutely understood what letter you are talking about, you say a word. That system was developed by people working on aeroplanes, ground control to the pilots to make sure the information was absolutely correct. It's a system, it's the NATO spelling alphabet that we will be looking at, which is the internationally accepted one. But more of that a little bit later. Okay, so how do we remember people's names? Well, the trick here is to focus. Because most of the time, when we say hello, your whole perception is taking in that person. You're thinking, okay, what kind of clothes are they wearing? What kind of mood are they in? Do they look nice? Is this person going to be a friend, an enemy? So it's an instinctive reaction from us to be almost like assessing that person. When actually, if we value learning people's names, the focus needs to be on the name, okay? And then the impression has to come later once we have got that name. Because normally you only get that person's name once when you're introduced. If we miss that moment, we don't get the name. Have a reason, yeah? Remind yourself why it's useful to know people's names. If you're starting a new job somewhere and you forget everyone's names, that's going to be really make life difficult. As a teacher, for example, you want to know all of your students' names. You want to be able to go into a staff room as any kind of worker and be able to ask questions without waiting for that person to look at you. So remind yourself when you're in a situation where you're meeting people that names are really, really important. As I said, focus, pay attention. What's your name? If you're going to ask them what their name is, ask them that question because you want to know the answer, not as a piece of small talk. Yeah? What's your name? Am I actually asking that question or am I just doing it out of like autopilot? Repeat it quickly. Now you don't have to say, oh, Harry, nice to meet you. You could use their name in a question. So, how long have you lived here, Harry? Yeah, putting their name at the end of a question. Focus, focus, focus. Yep. Those first moments, you're just trying to remember the name. Now we can use various mind techniques to do that. It's all about making connections in your brain so that one piece of information is linked to different pathways in your brain to make it more memorable. Maybe you could think of an adjective beginning with that same letter. So we're doing Harry, yeah? Can we think of an adjective, quite a visual adjective, or a kind of motion adjective to describe Harry? You could have humongous Harry, and we have this picture of huge Harry. Or he could be hairy Harry, yeah? Hair all over him. Okay? So an adjective with that same letter. Maybe we notice something about Harry, a physical characteristic. What's Harry like? Harry's head. Harry's head seems to be really big. Hairy Harry's head. Yep. Head. Yeah, he's hairy. Hairy Harry. I'm just trying to build a picture, a mental picture of this guy. Name associations. Who else do I know who's like Harry? Harry. I know a girl called Harry. My cousin's called Harry. So we're just trying to we've got the person, we're trying to link them to other people called Harry. When Sally Met Harry, if you know that film very well. Okay, just trying to build the links. What does it sound like? Maybe the person is called Harry Porter. Their second name, Porter. It's like they carry things all the time. So again, just trying to build as big a picture as you can. Get the name in a couple more times. So, you into football, Harry? When you say goodbye, well, it's been a real pleasure to meet you, Harry. I get back home, having a little cup of tea at the end of the day, a herbal one, so I don't stay awake all night long. And I'm thinking, okay, who did I meet today? Harry, Hairy Harry, who is like, okay, Hairy Harry's head, yeah, okay. And then I'm on to the next person, and I'm just going through each of the people, so that when I see him next, hey Harry, how are you? And he's really impressed that I've made the effort to learn his name. Okay, we're going to try and apply a couple of these techniques to learning the International Spelling Alphabet. So, these are the techniques that we're going to apply to learning the International Spelling Alphabet. We're going to focus when we get the word. We're going to repeat it straight away. Then we're going to build some associations around that word so that we can remember it. And we're going to remind ourselves. Okay? The International Spelling Alphabet. Okay? It was designed to eliminate confusion so that different nationalities, when they are saying this, it all sounds the same. Okay? So you can understand someone from a different tongue, a different region of the world who says this, and you'll recognize these words. So, repeat after me. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. Okay, and as I start, so you're going to repeat, but as you start to hear these words, allow your mind to start making some associations with these words. Okay, so you're going to repeat it, and then you're going to allow your imagination to create some kind of picture. For example, bravo is something people say when they're clapping. So you could imagine someone clapping, or maybe you think of something totally different. That's fine. So repeat and imagine. Delta. Echo. Foxtrot. Okay, the old-fashioned dance. Golf. Maybe you're thinking of the car, Volkswagen Golf. Hotel. Which hotel are you thinking of? India. Maybe you've got a friend called India. Maybe you're thinking of the country. Juliet. Do you know any Juliets? You thinking of Romeo and Juliet? Kilo. Kilo. Are you thinking of a kilo of oranges, flour, butter? Lima. Lima. Now, if you have no association with the capital of Peru, Lima, then maybe you've got a friend called Lee, and you're thinking of Lee's ma, Lee's mum, Lima. I've got a friend called Lee. Mike. Mike. Maybe you're thinking of a guy called Mike. Maybe you're thinking of a microphone. November. What's November like? Oscar. Do you know anyone called Oscar? You thinking of the award? Papa. Quebec. Qua. That's a funny sound, isn't it? Qua. Qua. What else sounds like qua? Queen, Quebec. Romeo. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Sierra. Sierra. Okay, in Spain, the Sierra is like a really dry land. Tango. Takes two to tango. Tango, tango, tango. Uniform. Victor. Do you know the old BBC comedy One Foot in the Grave? The main character is called Victor. Very sort of slow but delightful old man. Always complaining about things. X-ray. Going into the hospital. X-ray. Yankee. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. Yankee. Maybe you're just thinking of an American. Slightly derogatory term. Zulu. 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 Loo. You know what a loo is? It's a toilet. Zulu. I used to have a dog called Zulu. Okay. Right. The next thing, so I don't know if you've started to make any associations with these words. I'm hoping you have. Now, the thing is we can learn these words in isolation, but what we really want to be doing is finding the link. So we are learning all of them. We know the whole alphabet. Okay, so you have to have like a picture for each of these words, but then that picture should go to the next picture. There should be a connection so that we know the whole alphabet, and that one letter leads us to the next, which leads us to the next, to the next, to the next, until we just know this. Because lots of people will be familiar with this, but if they are asked to say a letter, they won't be able to use it. We need to know it so well. Okay, so alpha, what am I thinking? Alpha, alpha. It's the first letter in the Greek alphabet. Alpha, there's a alpha course, a kind of a Christian course. Okay, maybe I can think of that. I'm thinking of kind of quite a sort of modern church, with quite sort of pop music, and they start clapping. They're saying bravo, bravo. So I've linked this to this. Bravo. They're saying bravo there. Now I need to get in my next picture. I've got a friend called Charlie, one of my best friends. What's Charlie doing there? He's normally doing something kind of silly. What does Charlie start doing there? Charlie starts causing a scene. The security guards have to start speaking into their walkie-talkies. Delta, Delta Force, Delta, Delta, we have a problem. Charlie, Charlie causing a problem. Delta, over. Because Delta is something that's sometimes said down walkie-talkies. Do you see where I'm going? So you've got to try and, I don't want to do all of this because I'll end up saying some really embarrassing things, and it's better that you do this yourself, okay? So that is a little bit of homework for you, okay? To try and go all the way through and find a story, yep, linking one word to the next. Why do we do that technique? Okay, maybe you have to learn a list of kings and queens, or yeah, the more sort of connections you make, the more likely you are to learn and remember a list. Okay, so let's just remind ourselves one more time. We've got Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel, India, Juliet, Kilo, Lima, Mike, November, Oscar, Papa, MNOP, Papa, Quebec, Romeo, Sierra, Tango, Uniform, Uniform, V, Victor. I used to say violin. Now I've learnt that it's Victor. X-ray, I'm thinking bones. Yep. X, UVW. Have I done? Oh, I haven't. I've missed out whiskey. Where's whiskey gone? UVW. Oh, I missed out one. Poor old whiskey. Whiskey. Uniform, Victor, Whiskey, X-ray, Yankee, Zulu. I hope you've probably been watching this program saying, Benjamin, you've missed out a letter. I have. I did miss out a letter. Bad Benjamin. Yeah. Using an adjective to remind myself of my name. Bad. Okay. I'm going to test you on this now. So I'm going to say something and I want you to write down the spelling of it. Okay. I'm going to stand here so you can't see at all anything. Right. So let's imagine we're having a phone call. Yes, that's all good. And you ask me, what was your website again, Benjamin? I said, oh yeah, it's honeyourenglish.com. And you say, how do you spell that? Honeyur English, you know, like the words. And you're like, yeah, but I haven't got it. Okay, fine, I'll tell it to you. Hotel, Oscar, November, Echo, Yankee, Oscar, Uniform, Romeo, Echo, November, Golf, Lima, India, Sierra, Hotel, Dot, Charlie, Oscar, Mike. Okay, show me what you got. honeyourenglish.com. That's where to go if you want any more help from me with your spoken or written English. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope that you're going to take away lots of useful ideas for remembering names, okay? Because in a business and a social context, if you can master the art of remembering names, you know, you're going to go far, okay? Thanks for watching and have fun using the International Spelling Alphabet. And I'll see you very soon, provided that you are a subscriber and so you know when my next video is coming.